Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another Saturday afternoon of fun times, or whenever you're watching on YouTube, here to a little show we like to call Project Cronus. We've got a lot of things to do, a long way to go insane, and a short time to get there. So before we go forward, we have to go back, and I'm going to briefly go around. I'm going to ask the players just a few things here. Who are you? Who are you playing? And are you ready? We're going to start with Dawn. Dawn, what do you think, bud?
I think that I am ready, and I am Don. I'm pretty sure on the latter part. I'm not so sure about the former part, but I'm excited to play Barnabas Norwood, folk sorcerer. He's old and tired, but he's still fighting and making decisions, and whether or not those are good decisions, only Greg can tell.
I can't. I'm the worst judge of decision making. But before we go any further, let's go over and check out the pulse of the country, see where the voters stand as we talk to Finney. Finney, you're Finney, but who will you be playing, and how do you feel about today?
Well, Greg, thanks for having me again. I will be playing Honest Pete Abraham, who is absolutely of sound mind and body. So I think today is going to be absolutely fine, and I am not in the least bit terrified.
Fantastic.
Believe that? I have some real estate for sale.
It's a bridge. It's in Brooklyn. Okay, let's go north to one Aphrodite, currently Mimi. Summer, how are you? Who will you be playing, and are you ready?
I'm about as ready as I can be. I'm playing Mimi Mills before she kind of loses it a little bit. No, just a little bit. And she's just playing the babysitter today. Barney, don't touch that. Pete, come on. We're going this way now. We're all going for a swim. Get it together, friends. Yeah. So just ready for more of that. Everything's fine.
Right. Another episode of Herding featuring Mimi as she herds the Olympic cats to and from Eldritch nonsense. And finally, we go over to our last player, who may need to be introduced to herself after the experience that she is going to go through momentarily. But I'm going to ask our final player, who are you? Who do you think you're playing? And are you ready for today?
Hi, I'm Kiana. I'm playing May. I will be playing her throughout this game, if I have any say in it, Greg. I am incredibly anxious, but let's go!
Fantastic. I couldn't ask for anything more with the enthusiasm. Quickly, what I will tell you all is we have the following going on. If you look straight down below, you can see how you can interact with the scene as you see it playing out in the narrative. You can give advantages. You can make things easier or more challenging for the Olympians as you see them. You will see the effects of several of the prior donations coming into play in this episode as we have reached an area where they can be placed correctly. But before we do that, here on Project Cronus, we do not do a traditional recap system. We simply do the headlines of the day. And so as I drop the sound down to nil, I will give you this week's headlines based on what had occurred in the last session of Project Cronus. This just in, Jack Kilgrave sent by Bryce Lapp to see the team safely to Constantinople. Peter Stagliani, the original expert, needed for the dig, but Maria now the lucky winner of the Cthulhu NPC Award. Check your watches and place your bets. The word trust is bandied about like a balloon at a kid's party. The Stations of the Cross. Ink spots on the marble of the reliefs. Barney can't keep his hands off the priceless pieces of art. Pete takes a trip to Red Sands and sees some friends hanging out. Pete loses his goddamn mind. Mimi finds his goddamn mind by straightening his tie. What's the buzz? Tell me what's a-happening. Look at the size of those goddamn flies. These stations contain a bonus episode in their director's cut. Consequently, Pilot and the Fallen Angels was my old band name. Barney fights Flyer with Geyser. Into the waters. And finally, a new special for this section of the headlines. It goes to our advice column. Our latest episode, Dear Abby, my husband's old flame wants me dead. Did I mention they are an extraplanar creature of unspeakable horror? Tired and so over it. May. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are our headlines for this week. And without further ado, let me see what we need. We need a little bit of... As last we left the party, they were swimming through a sunken canal in Venice. There was no way above to get more air. There was only through, because at the place where they submerged into the water, a swarm, a cloud of massive black flies, corpse flies, bloated with God knows what, circled and swarmed, held only at bay by the magics of Barney. And with the last of the moments afforded Barney's magic, he held as long as he could, released the spell. He and May, who had stayed behind for him, jumped beneath the wave's surface. As they were swimming, the waters seemed to carry Barney, grabbing him and rushing him through this dark underwater world, safely navigating the current past even his friends that had gone in before. However, the same current was not so forgiving, was not so nice, was not so supportive of May. And as May was pushed instead of pulled, as she was drugged instead of prodded and guided, she saw light ahead in the darkened, which she believed the submerged channel in Venice. But when her eyes opened, she was afforded not the look of her husband or her friends or even broken streets beneath Venice. Instead, she saw a massive creature with tentacles writhing beneath large alien eyes. The creature itself massive, seemingly incapable of her mind to take in the entirety of it, yet somehow, even with the limited view, even with the low light, she did. And at this point, I would like Kiana to roll me a d20. So with a lucky number 13, you lose that number of sanity. And as you're staring at this, you are instantly gifted with a permanent scarring of your mind. And as your mind has this image burned into it, May sees not the creature, but she sees the renting of which it is capable of. She sees the destruction behind the alien eyes. And your permanent insanity, May, is that you know the end of the world comes from this creature. You hear in your mind, through your very atoms, a rumbling that pierces and waves through the water or the liquid that you float or are suspended in, and it vibrates into your soul. He's mine. He dreamed with me. He does not need you.
After this wave, a tidal wave of fear has kind of coursed through every single part of May's very being. looks at the thing that she knows will end the world as she knows it. He doesn't belong to you.
Make a constitution check for me, please. As soon as you say the words of which you do utter into the water, you feel the liquid pour into your throat, into your nose. It is disturbing, but you're able to vocalize even as you pump the fluid past your larynx and back into your lungs and out. It is a sensation that is maddening, but your body seems to allow it partially. You can feel muscles seizing. Your throat feels as if it's constricting and almost working like a bit of peristalsis as it just kind of ruptures and ripples, releasing the words instead of simply speaking them with wind. Liquid is not your medium to communicate in, but it is the creature's. You wish to protect him. He is far more powerful than you.
In some ways he is, yes.
Make me an offer. Tell me how you could help my dreamer.
I am his stability. I am his tie to the world. That may eventually fall. But I am there to help guide him when your gifts may have led him astray.
Roll another d20 for me, please. As 17 additional sanity rush from your mind, you hear the creature say, "You are his anchor, weighing down Poseidon. Once you are gone, he will leave the constraints of the mortal mind, and he will rise closer to me. Make me another offer. How will you truly protect him?"
With my mind and everything I have created, with my hands and everything I have wrought with them, and with my heart, which belongs fully to him.
You would die for him, but would you die over and over and over for him?
For as long as my self in this world existed,
Swear on
I swear on everyone I hold dear.
Roll a Constitution saving throw for me. Again, you feel the liquid as it now begins to burn as you utter these words, and as it floods into your ear canals, you can feel the pounding and the deep reverberations through this liquid that air could not deliver with such force. And the creature thinks to you again, "That is not what I asked for. I said swear on your daughter."
Don't you bring my daughter into this.
Roll another con check for me. I didn't bring her into this. You did. She's the only one of you with power to rival his. Swear on her.
I swear. On my daughter.
Protect him. And you protect your daughter. But when the time comes, there are some anchors that forever find the bottom. And with a rush, may you black out. Barney, you almost hit the sand and the air with the force of a surfer. As you collapse into the sand, you drag forward a bit as the current of the water behind you drives you into the soil. You take no damage. You are drenched from head to toe, but that's not an unfamiliar feeling to the former Navy man. But you realize that in this cavern, in this place, though you felt yourself go in a relatively straight line, you are alone.
Barney's on the bank of an underground cave. Is there any
Yes.
sort of light anywhere?
You can see that there seems to be some light trickling in from farther down the cave. Whether this is natural, maybe a crack in the streets above, or whether this is some type of artificial light, torchlight, it eludes you right now. It's casting too pale a glow, but it's enough to see.
Shivering, he crawls up onto the bank, dirt and mud into his fingertips. He looks around for May, doesn't see her. He takes a deep breath, turns around, and immediately dives back into the water and tries to swim against the current, tries to get back, tries to find her hand in the dark under river.
Make a power check for me.
Hard success.
With a hard success, you are able to find your way into the water. But as you take a stroke, the first pull against the liquid, you feel that same current forcing you back. It's almost as if it's matching you force for force. For every plane and strike of your bladed fingers and your stroke, as you pull the water back, it pushes you to your former position. You are swimming with all of your substantial knowledge and force, but you aren't getting anywhere.
He keeps trying and for as long as he can until he has to take a breath. And he lets that current push him back up against the bank. He feels his back slam into the rocks. He pulls his head up for air, takes a deep breath. May.
You do, however, see figures and fingers begin to reach up and break the surface as both Pete and Mimi find their way into this pocket of air. Mimi and Pete, you are with Barney. However, both of you failed your constitution checks, I believe, when you went into the water. I would like you to roll each a d6. And each of you only get a little snoot full of water as you come up and kind of just, do the old close one nostril, breathe through the other, and spray out a little, some of that sweet, sweet subterranean Venetian water. And beyond that one hit point, you cough a little bit. You two are soaked to the bone, perhaps not as accustomed to the feeling as Barney, but there is Barney, somehow making it before you.
So we're able to go ashore, basically.
Yeah, you guys, imagine coming in a lagoon up into a very, very small tunnel cave. It's maybe 8 feet high, and as you guys come up, it levels off and reaches a sandy beach. The sand is reddish.
All right, where are the other two?
Barney's pulled himself up onto the bank, and he would help Pete and Mimi up out of the water if he could. He says, I don't know. Did you see May? Did you see her? Is she down there?
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see her, Barney.
We gotta get her. And Barney's looking around frantically. Does he see anyone else in the cave besides the three of them?
Everybody that's now surfaced and looking around, as your eyes become accustomed to the low light, you can roll me a spot hidden.
Success.
Yeah, as you look around, Barney, frantically, you see that the cave leads further in where that light is kind of trickling in from. In addition to that, you see what looks like several packs, like several knapsacks that are lined up against the wall. And you also see a very defined set of footprints leading into the cave with the light.
And he notices it, but his brain is already pushing that aside. He'll look to Mimi and he'll look to Pete and he'll say, will you help me? Will you let me borrow some of your power?
Yeah, I mean, she might be up any second. I'm not sure how you beat us in here, but...
I'm a good swimmer. There was a current. I don't understand. If there was a current, we jumped in at the same time. She should be here already. Something's wrong.
At this point too, Don, Barney would know that several minutes have passed, and this is a powerful long time to hold your breath even while being still, let alone exerting yourself with a swim like that.
Please, just trust me. We have to try something.
Yeah, all right.
Whatever I can do, Bonnie.
Barney will hold out both of his hands, palm up, and again, like before, small flames dance off the top of each of his fingertips, coalescing together in arcs between his two hands, and he holds out his hands for Mimi and for Pete and says, "Hold on tight."
Yep, she reaches out and takes one.
Greg, what is the current condition of my hands when I go to look to place mine in his?
The blood appears gone, washed off by the waters.
I will also reach into Barney's hand.
The flames aren't hot, they're wet, they're oceanic, and there's the smell of salt water and brine. And once he has their hands together, he's going to try to cast Call Tempest again, but this is a shared spell now, so they can pull their magic points for a more powerful version of it. How can Barney try to determine how much strength would he have to use to change the flow, to break to break the flow of the current?
What's the normal magic point expenditure for Tempest?
So it's 4, 8, 16, 32, or 64 MP, depending on the power level needed.
I will make you this as a benevolent keeper for a pooled 18 magic points. I will let you part the water.
All right. So that would be what, like, Barney will do 8, and then 4 and 4 for the other two. Is that right? Did I do that math right?
Mm-hmm. If you have the resources. Wait, that's 16. Did I say 18?
So 5. Yeah.
Okay.
So 8, 5, and 5. Okay. So once he has their hands locked, that flame begins to coalesce around their hands instead, and he closes his eyes, focuses, and says, "Shagnog, Shugthod, Shagnod, Shugthod," and tries to cast the spell.
So as you cast, and I want power checks from both Pete and Mimi, please. Okay. As you two are almost the outer or exterior links in the Barney chain, as Barney is holding each of your left or right hand respectively, whichever hand Barney is not holding, you feel it begin to move in very specific and foreign symbols and gestures, almost as if the man at the center, Barney, is creating a conduit, a marionette effect where his own hands can't gesture in the way that he needs, perhaps. And so yours, through your bodies, are continuing to make the gestures that are needed. And for Mimi, you get a flash as if these movements do not seem as alien as they do to Pete. They seem like something that you've done longer than you haven't. That this is an element of your life that you've forgotten, much like an imaginary friend at play, or an old toy long boxed. And upon feeling those movements go through your offhand, you get a comforting feel. You do not lose any magic points, as what you will become seems to be feeding you. In front of you, the waters do not boil, they do not wave or whitecap. They merely cease to exist in a pie-shaped wedge as the sand now extends, much wetter and damper, but it goes 15, 20, 30 feet back the way that you've come.
As the waters part, he stops his chanting, spits up a large amount of salt water into the bank, heaves over for a moment, May, and then he lets go of your hands and that flame is snuffed and he starts running straight for that opening in the water.
So while you both see with the spot hiddens that were rolled, sorry, I was muted for the stream. As the spot hiddens are rolled from both Pete and Mimi, as Barney rushes towards the opening, the split, the pie wedge of water, it is both of them that see it, but it is Pete that clearly makes out against the wall of water that is being pushed back, this almost aquarium-like effect. You see coming through, pooling and pumping against the current, Jack Kilgrave. And you see he's only swimming with one hand. And as he pulls with his left, he breaks free of the surface, and almost like he too is being birthed or beached like a whale from sea to shore, he flies out into the newly formed beach that Barney is running towards, pulls with his right arm, and May comes out of the water with him. She is not moving.
Would immediately call over to Barney, and point to where May is.
Yeah, Barney would see it as he's rushing towards it. May, I need you to roll 3d6 for me, please. Another lucky 13, as those are the hit points that you have been reduced. Your total's been reduced by 13. I'd like you to make another Constitution check for me, please. Roll me one more 1d6. She is not moving.
When Barney sees Jack appear with her, he just pumps his legs even faster, and he's old, he's not a fast man, he's large, he's sweating and breathing hard, and he almost collapses on top of her as he gets to where she is on that beach. And he grabs her hands and looks down, and he puts his ear down to her mouth. Is she breathing? May no. And he's been in the Navy. You know, he knows. He knows how to try to revive her. He'll try to get her mouth open, and he'll try to get 2 fingers down her throat to see if he can pull up water or something that might be lodged down there. And he'll listen again. He'll do whatever it takes.
As you begin to perform this, I'm going to need you to roll a first aid as you are attempting to revive May. Jack is laying on the ground beside. He has enough sense to roll away from the scene as he is violently vomiting, and he's just racked as water is rushing, and he's not even inhaling. It's force of muscle. And both Pete and Mimi can hear the crack of his ribs as he is forcing this water from his lungs, but his eyes stay locked on May.
As he's pumping her chest in rhythm and breathing into her mouth and then listening and then pumping her chest, I'll definitely use advantage on this roll. May, come on, May. We gotta get back to Ruby now. Gotta get back to Ruby, May. Come on. Damn it. I will spend 12 luck on that second roll to make that a success.
A second goes by, a third, as the power of the water is still being held in place from the shared spell, and as the weird aquarium bears witness to one Olympian loving another, Jack spits up the rest of his water and looks over, and as he sees Pete and Mimi, he slowly shakes his head. And May, that's when a geyser of water erupts from your mouth, being prompted by Barney's machinations. And as this occurs, you remember everything that occurred to you in this tunnel, but your other permanent insanity, part curse, part mental break, you know you can never tell Barney.
Oh. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, thank God. Are you all right? Are you all right?
I think
You can't scare me like that. You can't scare me like that.
it's fine. Fine as all. That's always.
I don't know how long this is. He's looking around and there's water on all sides, like two walls of a parted sea. I don't know how long this is gonna hold. Can you stand? I can carry you.
Yeah, Mimi's coming over to help her and Jack to just give an extra hand to get them out.
I will aid as well.
Come on, we gotta get you all out of here.
And whoever is helping May, she's shaking.
You're cold, oh. You're just cold. We'll get you warmed up. Come on. Mimi, Pete. Thank you.
Pete would attempt to reach into any of his pockets to see if he happens to have his flask still on his person.
Very first pocket you reach to.
Excellent. So, if you don't mind me saying, May, you look like you could use a drink. And Pete would offer his flask.
Pete, that's real sweet, but I don't know if now's the best time.
Sometimes it just settles the nerves.
Maybe we should give her a chance to breathe first.
Varney would know that May's not much of a drinker. But she reaches a very shaky hand with glass and just takes a very small swig. Again, her face kind of scrunching up as always after drinking any of this.
I would like you to roll me a d3 and a d6. So with 1 point of sanity restored by, what is she drinking, Adam?
Oh, let's go with a nice brandy. I think that has a nice go.
It has recuperative powers. It's medicinal.
Yeah.
So as you drink the brandy, there is a portion of the liquid that is so strong, not even Cthulhu can stand against it, as 1 point of the lost sanity is restored and 5 points of your health return to you.
Thank you, Pete.
Anytime, May.
Holy shit, what the... That's the hardest swim I've ever made. I mean, goddamn.
We able, or have we been able to get back up to the bank by now?
Yeah, you guys are able to pull yourselves up, and maybe 10 or perhaps 13 seconds later, the water returns to the shore.
As it crashes back together, Barney, still holding on to May's hands, will look over to Jack and say, why did you get stuck down there? What happened back there? The current was so strong for me.
Everything was going fine. I was swimming. I thought I was right behind these two, but I started feeling something forcing against me, but it was just slipping past. But I looked back and I saw her, and she's not making any headway, so I don't know how I saw her, but I did, and I just tried to help, I guess.
Thank you, Jack. I know, I'm sorry if I was cold to you before. I'll never forget what you did here. Thank you.
I'm just glad everybody, and he'll kind of reach over and almost do like a soldier's clap on May's knee. I'm just glad everybody's all right, you know? God damn, this is a hell of a thing. He'll stand up and just take a few steps off.
So what do we do? We're down here now.
There's somebody's been here before us, probably that Stagliani woman and Dietrich. Look, and Barney at this whole point will take just one of his hands off of Maze and point to where there's footprints in the dirt. He'll show where the packs have been laid out on the far wall, and they seem to be leading off to another cave or something.
Why would they leave their packs here?
I don't know, and I don't remember them having packs either. So,
Well, we didn't see them, so maybe they took something with them.
let's see what they brought with them. Maybe what they got in those packs.
Yeah, maybe we'd go over to look through them.
Okay, Mimi, you're going over by yourself? Are you taking anybody with you?
Whoever wants to come with me, I'm not going to invite them.
50 to 100, Jack will come along. 1 to 49, he will not. He's just going to hang out.
I'm alone.
Okay, so Mimi, as you go over to the packs, I'd like you to roll me a spot hidden with advantage.
Yeah. Success.
Okay, so with your success, as you are looking at these packs, it doesn't take much to see that the names of each of your party members, including Jack, are written on the packs as Pete, Barney, May, yourself, and Jack each seem to have one of these almost military rucksacks, these knapsacks. Also, you will see that there is, you're not positive, as you're not much of the light's too low in here to be much of a tracker to see, but you're pretty confident there is only one set of footprints in the sand.
Barney,
Well, yeah.
these are for us. They have our names on them.
I don't like that.
And it looks like only one person came this way. So if they were together, they're not anymore.
May, are you doing okay now?
Yeah, so should be fine.
We can rest if you need to rest.
No, it's fine. No. We should keep going.
All right. Okay.
Mimi will pick up the packs and start handing them out.
And Barney will come over and help Mimi.
Yep. Each of the packs are identical. They are, in fact, military-issued packs. You're not sure from which country. You would guess most likely Spain or Italy, perhaps France, as, you know, there's no country of origin of flag, no type of indications with iconography. But it seems to be of a design that is definitely not U.S. military, which at the time was very boxy and large. These are very small, almost like a satchel or something that could be worn at the hip, but it does have two straps for shoulder use. When you all begin to look through them, you come across the following as I go through my notes. Both May and Barney, inside your packs, you see what look like, May, you would recognize these as being some type of amalgamation of welder's goggles and perhaps some type of underwater or swimming apparatus. These appear to be airtight goggles of some kind. And both of these are identical pairs that are in May's pack and Barney's pack, but do not exist in anyone else's pack. May, it doesn't take you long, nor does it take Barney long, and there's no roll required here, as you see when you look in something that has your, for lack of a better word, tech in it. It has elements of designs that you have come up with for your glove, for other, maybe perhaps inventions that you hit a wall with and weren't able to conclude for lack of resources or because the technology of the day had not advanced to that point. But as you are looking at something, you see two discs attached to two metallic rods. It's almost like a stethoscope, but instead of a tubal coming from the pressure point, it's a solid metal stake, not unlike chopsticks, with these devices on the end. It takes you a second and you figure it out, and it helps that it has a tag written in the hand of your daughter, and it says cardiac resuscitator. This can bring someone back that drops below their hit points if used within 2 rounds. It has 1 use. Barney, you find a scroll in your bag. It is simply labeled again in the hand of your daughter, Eyes of Light. in her way of paraphrasing that is very much like her mother, it says, "It just lets you see in absolute darkness. It too has one use." Mimi, you see in your pack, beyond just rations and water, which is uniform across all of the bags, you see a very odd, very Corellian bottle that has a large tag coming off the side of it, and it says, "Drink me." It is stoppered, but as you bring it up to your eye, you see that there, at least you can't see anything inside to drink. This is a potion of invisibility. It has one use. And Pete, as you look through your bag, again, with everything in here that seems to be uniform across the packs, you see a candle, almost like a church candle. Its diameter's 3 to 4 inches. But on the outside, written in the wax, it says, "Nothing but the flame." This also contains a symbol of what looks like, drawn into the wax, 2 globes, flat, 2-dimensional, touching at their equators. This has 3 uses, Pete, and every time you burn the candle, whoever stares into the flame, they get sanity back. Other than that, you have enough to eat, you have enough to drink, you have the red sand beneath you, and I would like Pete to make a sanity check as he sees this red sand.
That's a negative.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. One point of sanity as you pull your hand back and you see the red sand, or the red nature of the sand, and you're immediately reminded of something very troubling. Olympians, what will you do?
I think Barney's starving, so it takes him a few moments, and he'll show the scroll to May, and so that she can see that it's from Ruby. But he'll eat. That's something that he hasn't done in quite a long time at this point.
Mimi's kind of okay. Can I figure out based on the size of these footprints if it's a man or a woman? Comparing it to my own foot.
I tell you what, using your foot as a comparison, I will allow you to roll a... I think I'm going to go with... Don't we have a natural world in here somewhere? Something similar?
Yeah.
Something...
Yeah. It's called Natural World.
Barney will help. Barney has this.
Quick, everybody! Who's got natural world?
Give me your feet.
Why?
Well, I just kind of want to know, like, which of our friends drowned.
Oh. Well, maybe Dietrich. Here's hoping. Barney will...
Hoping?
Well, if Marie, Stagliani, she's real important, and Dietrich, he's... Anyways, here's my foot. Barney.
My foot and Barney's foot. It's got to be somewhere in here. Okay. So do I just... Natural world? Okay.
Natural world.
I'll use an advantage.
You... Okay, you're consistent.
I don't understand feet. What can I say?
Okay. what I'll do here is, and what I was going to say, go ahead and I will allow, because this isn't really a super difficult thing, I will allow Barney to roll as well, as you guys kind of sit there and like do this together, but no advantage for Barney unless he of course burns one too.
No, I think I'm feeling lucky.
Sure.
Yeah, you guys are confounded. Like, one of you thinks it's bigger than Barney's foot. One of you thinks it's definitely smaller.
We've ruined the footprint.
You've ruined that. That's what's ended up happening. It's like your heel falls now. That heel, you're reading the wrong like toe drag and everything, and it's just like, oh, the hell with it.
Hey, Pete, do you want to get in on this foot thing?
It kills time, that's for sure.
So when you look over, Pete is down on his knees, and he has like put his hands into the sand and is just letting the sand kind of run through his hands. Still no sign of wounds, right, Greg?
No, you look good.
Okay.
Well, looks like he's busy, so.
Yeah. But he would remark, because that this was there when I saw you two on the crosses.
This cave, or
The red sand, Barney. And one of those flies.
well, we're in Venice, Pete. So, we're in a different place. It's just a coincidence, probably.
Hopefully.
At which point, Pete would kind of go over and assist with the foot measurements.
Give me that natural world roll, Pete, as you add in your 2 cents.
Help us.
Okay, so
That's good legal counsel right there.
Pete, as you walk up, you kind of look at the other two as they're like, you see it immediately, and you're like, the hell. You would, if you were to guess, and that's kind of what you're doing here, is this isn't quite your arena of expertise, but it's with a hard success in this. You would definitely think it's probably like a female foot. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely smaller than Barney's and yours, and more comparable to Mimi's. So yeah, that's your guess.
If I were going to assume, I'd say a lady size 7.
Oh, good. That's good.
That's what I was thinking. All right, so Joe's not here. Probably.
Yeah, hopefully he's, somewhere else. Could think of a couple of places. It doesn't matter right now. Barney will get out his guns, and he's gonna check his shotgun and his rifle to make sure that they work, because he was underwater.
Okay, roll me that luck check.
Okay. Can I use advantage on luck?
I'll let you, sure.
All right, I'm going to, because I want my guns.
Yep. You basically, you can quickly tell that there's like 1 or 2 shells that definitely got waterlogged when you went through there, but most of them were placed in a pack and kind of sealed away and wrapped to enough where you're able to, you probably saved about half of your shells are okay.
Cool. All right, I'm ready. May, are you ready?
Yeah. Always am.
Are you okay?
If I go over to May, what kind of vibes am I getting here?
You know what to do if you're going to reach out. Are you going to make actual physical contact to try to help your
Sure.
go right ahead. If that's allowed by the player, then Mimi can definitely.
May's not flinching away.
Okay.
Oh hell yeah, she's lying. She's beat to shit. She feels awful. As soon as you get closer, you just feel agony. You feel every conceivable as emotion is what Mimi gleans. The motion here is, in fact, this is probably something that Mimi hasn't felt this uncut before. It's not so much agony as it would be torment.
Yeah. She just kind of like rubs her back for a second, and I'm going to try and kind of set her at ease a little bit. Obviously none of us are exactly easy here, but more than she is. And just be like, you made it out. It's okay. There's nowhere to go but forward, and we're all together. Fuck.
May knows what this is.
Yeah. She doesn't know
No, but she feels it. And she blocks it off. I'm fine. Thank you. Yes, we should keep going forward.
She just
Cool.
nods and looks over at Barney.
Barney knows probably. I think Barney knows what Mimi's done too, because he knows this Mimi, and there's a grateful look in his eyes. He's not sure if it helped or not, but there's a grateful look in his eyes when she looks over, and he'll go over to May and say, "Will you stick close to me now? Don't stray off. We'll stay together just like always. And let's go find this Stagliani and see what she's doing."
No more swimming for a while.
All right, who's going first?
Sure. I always go first. Ding, 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 ding.
Barney will try to keep May close, so that Mimi's not too far ahead, and he'll also get his rifle out just to be ready.
And I'll pick up the rear with Jack, I guess.
Once again, Jack 50 to 100. He's going with Mimi. 1 to 49. He ain't. I'll walk up there with you. And he kind of
stands alone.
yeah, he pats Pete as Pete kind of comes close. He like gives Pete a friendly pat on his waterlogged shoulder. I'll just go up here and take point. You got to go first last time, and you didn't get stuck in the water, so I think maybe I'll go first. He walks up and joins Mimi at the front of the tunnel. Are you ready, my dear?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Well then, shall we? And he kind of presents the tunnel to you. But he walks side by side with you.
She goes ahead. See what's in this thing.
So as you are walking, you see that the tunnel in the sand quickly opens into a kind of a roughly circular room. And go ahead and roll me a spot hidden as you and Jack get into this room. You see that there are, it's almost like a band around what would be, I guess, like the chair rail height of the room, almost like a strip around the very center of this kind of off circular room. And scattered around are like more like 8-inch by 8-inch squares. And they all seem to be the same size, and there seems to be roughly 14 of them. The rest of you make your way into this area.
She'd go over to one to get a closer look.
Okay, as soon as you kind of reach down and look at one, you see a much less detailed but yet recognizable picture of what appears to be a less defined figure anointing the face of a figure carrying a cross. And in kind of looking around the 20-foot area, you can see from your positioning, Mimi, that these appear to be placards of the very stations of the cross that you saw before in the other hall, but on a much smaller, less defined, or less detailed scale.
Can't really get away from these things. She'd pointed out to Barney and May and Pete as they came in.
They gotta be important. Probably the reason why they came down here, right? Or at least part of it.
They're not here anymore.
If Barney checks out these images, is there some sort of pattern? Can he determine whether or not maybe that what their purpose might be, if it's anything more than just a reflection on the past?
I tell you what, I will allow either an occult roll because of what you've done previously with these, or just a straight idea check. The idea check would require a harder success than the occult roll would. It's easy for me to say. Yeah. As Barney, as you're inspecting this, I would like Pete and May to roll me spot hiddens, please. So, as everyone's kind of falling around these, Barney, you look down and you realize that all of these seem to be indicative of the same stations that you saw before, but more than that, it seems as if this kind of chair rail height ring that goes around the room has very small offset 8 by 8 inch kind of cubbies all around the area. And as you're kind of looking and seeing these scattered tiles around the room, May, with just the corner of your eye, you look back in time to see a piece of stone slowly and silently close across the area in which you had come from. And when you snap your head around, you see the exact same happen on the path ahead as both areas close off in this room. Everyone roll me a listen check. Adam, as this all occurs just as May saw it out of the corner of her eye, you catch just the briefest sound of friction, this odd kind of chimey noise, and you look up as the ceiling and the floor begin to move towards one another.
Oh, here we go.
What? Go where?
The doors have closed.
Oh, great. We're trapped.
And either the room's getting smaller or we're getting taller.
Probably the former. Okay.
There's there's probably a mechanical component here, right? It's probably like a series of wheels or turn pulley things. Oh, May, what do you call them? Now he's looking.
She's just kind of already looking, just kind of pulled together what the design of this is. Systematic. Yeah, she's trying to figure out what the mechanism is that's causing this, and therefore what trigger must be there in order to start or stop this.
Go ahead and give me a mechanical repair roll as you look around as the ceiling and the floor are speeding up.
Cool. I do get advantage on this because of Handy. I gotta go over.
It takes you a moment to realize that not only is the ceiling and the floor going to meet, but they're also screwing together as there's a kind of counterclockwise, clockwise motion of the floor. It's subtle, and the shift appears to be, it's getting faster and faster as whatever is powering this thing is getting more of a head of steam, or there's more gravity working with it. But with that roll, you also realize that in creating this type of corkscrew, there are tracks that are subtly placed along these, what appear to be a naturally rough-hewn cave wall, but you can see the tracks that it's screwing around into. The only thing you can think of is jamming one of those might help.
We need to rail it. It's running on a set of tracks. It's just, I can't see whatever mechanism is it. We just have to stop it from continuing forward.
Point me. Where do I stop?
Already, I point out the tracks.
All right. I have this, and Barney pulls out the stone sword that he blasted off the centurion. I don't know if this is strong enough, but here it goes. And he just tries to jam it right in there.
Fantastic. Is anyone assisting in this?
Yeah.
Have any of the rest of us noticed the cubbies?
Yes, as soon as all of this kind of goes along, and you guys are right when May indicates the wall and the tracks, you notice that the tracks kind of end right at this rail line, this like chair rail line, which is getting lower, and you can see the cubbies that are inset into it.
And these look like the plates would fit right in, huh?
It does, yes.
Well, I know what I'm doing. That putting these in the spots where they're supposed to go.
And those spots are? I will let you all know that you have 3 rounds before you guys get a lot thinner instead of being sinners. So, I don't know how that goes. So as you guys, is anybody helping Barney with the sword? And are you sharing this information with anybody about the cubby holes?
Oh, yeah. She'd be like, we need to get these in the right order. I wasn't fully paying attention. I remembered the first couple, but then I got bored as we were walking. So me and my notes wrote down the first 5 and then stopped.
As I expected everyone to do.
Great, thanks.
Oh, I can help. Just let me jam this sword in here and...
Yeah, just do that first. I'll start on these.
Okay, so let me ask, for the first round of combat, or the first round until you die, who is doing what?
Cubbies.
I'll force action. Barney, what are you doing? You're doing sword, right?
I'm doing sword.
Okay. May, what are you doing?
She's gonna help out Barney first.
Okay, she's going sword as well. Pete, what are you doing?
I will help out. I will help out Mimi.
Okay,
Don't
you're
know how
going.
much help I'll be though, because that was kind of loopy.
Okay, you're going stations, and where would you like Jack to help? As Jack's kind of like,
Jack, how much attention were you paying when we were walking through the crypt?
I'm an NPC, so I can't really help as much as you'd like. But I know them all. I just can't share.
Sure. Okay. Just help us. We've got more cubbies. They can get the sword. There's only, I mean, how much can you really help with jamming a sword into a wall?
Okay, I'll help with the cubbies. I tell you what, we'll split the difference, and I can at least arrange them.
Okay.
Is that what you wanted him to do? Oh, did you
Sure.
want him to- Okay.
However you can help, sweet angel.
Okay, so we are going to say that everybody working on the stations, I would like you to roll me straight intelligence here, as you are just getting them all, and kind of, this is like a moment in Survivor where everyone's scrambling to put the puzzle together, and it's like a triangle, but nobody's ever seen that shape before, and so everybody's just kind of adrenaline's freaking out and stuff.
I get to use my trait for the first time. I'm sharp-witted, so I get a bonus die when I'm making intelligence checks.
Yep.
Hard success. Oh my god, with these
Oh!
extremes tonight. Holy hell.
Okay, so this is how the extreme works, and also the hard would do this. Of the full 14 stations, Pete, as soon as you collect like 6 of them, and you look and you're like, oh, 1, 2, 3, I got the first 6. You know, you got like literally you picked up the first set of sequences, and because it's an extreme, you remember the order in which they go. With the hard, Mimi, you're able to gather 3 of them, and Jack succeeded, so he's able to give you another 1. So that's a total of the first 10 you guys have pretty much set up here. As I'm not as bad as this I thought. However,
Doing great.
we need to cut over to the sword duo. How are you guys going to do this? Brute force or blunt force trauma, or are you going to be surgical in the implementation of this? It will necessitate which roll I ask you to make.
May's looking for the right place and angle to jam this in, considering, the force of this thing coming and the implement we're trying to use to jam it. She wants to make sure it's not just going to break or slip out of place.
Barney's definitely following May's lead here in the angle and whatever. He doesn't want to mess it up.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. A mechanical repair. In this case, it is like mechanical sabotage, but you're able to make this roll, and at the same time, Barney's assist is going to give you, where a hard success would have been needed, you can now do it with a regular success. So go ahead and roll. Nice. So with that regular success and Barney's assistance, the couple, the partners in life and adventure, are able to drive the tip of this stone centurion sword, the sword of Pilate, into the track, and there is a protest that comes from the exterior, the above of this screw, and as you place it there, you guys are immediately forced back as the weight of this thing is kind of still moving. It is moving decidedly slower, but you can feel the floor still reaching up. Perhaps its movement independent of that of the ceiling, but you have bought yourselves some time. What I would like to do is go back to, you guys can hold your positions. I'm going to be asking for shared strength rolls coming up next as the applied physics is over. It is now time to see if you can just simply hang on. And I would like, again, intelligence checks, but this time with the remaining 4, I am going to need extreme successes, as you can't remember these last 4, unless of course you can.
I can remember the last one, I think.
That's not the last 4.
Are we able to communicate? Are we able to help each other?
You're too far away to see which
Okay.
sections they're
Bye.
on. Right.
Shush, you've got a sword to deal with.
All right.
Okay. What the actual hell?
I love it. I love it. I couldn't love it anymore, as the man with the shattered psyche, he remembers Sunday school. Just there was a day when he just had to, this was the beginning of Honest Pete Abraham. Pete, you immediately kind of walk up as you're now kind of hunched over a bit as you go through this cubby, and you see the 4 remaining. And as you quickly go through and see exactly what belongs where and kind of sort through them as one would dominoes or letterboards on a Scrabble game, and as you go through and put in the remaining ones, Jesus's clothes are taken away. Jesus is nailed to the cross. Jesus dies on the cross. The body of Christ is taken from the cross. Jesus is laid in the tomb as you put the final 4 in place. There is an opening and a silent swoosh as the far door opens. I'd like strength
Everyone.
checks, please.
Get out.
Strength checks.
Strength checks, please.
Hmm.
It sounds a lot like a cult, I know, but it's strength.
I'm going to use my last advantage on
I'm going to use an advantage as well.
Barney's hold. I will spend. Wait, I had one that was closed. I'll spend 5 luck.
Okay. So, narratively, as ceiling moves to meet floor, you drop to your knees, Barney, as you have the sword held in place, but the movement, the jerk, as it kind of jumps a foot or so, in May's weakened state, May, you just drop to the ground and kind of pick yourself up off of the sand, having let go of the sword. I'm going to ask everyone right now, there is maybe 3 feet of clearance in this place. Barney's about 1/3 of the way across the room from the door. How are you going to get out?
Crawl out.
Yeah, Mimi, Jack, and Pete, you guys can kind of hunker down and, keep your heads down and make it out. May can as well, but someone needs to hold the sword.
Just go. Just start going. I'll catch up.
I'm not leaving you behind.
I won't be behind. I'm right behind you. Just go.
You have to come with me. Come on.
If I start to let go of the sword, do I feel it immediately start to give? Or do I think that there's enough time that I might be able to make a run for it if I let go and start moving?
Roll me an idea check. It'll hold for a second. You just don't know how long.
Okay.
It seems like it's, as you kind of dare to release a bit of the pressure, it feels like it drags, but it doesn't seem like it's going to hold that long.
He says, "All right, we're going together. Go, go, go." And he'll let go of the sword, pull out his shotgun, and start crawling. And if that ceiling comes down, he'll try to jam it, like anything he can do to hold it a couple extra seconds while they try to get out of there.
Okay, so everybody else, let me verify what's going on with Mimi, Jack's gonna follow the group that he's with. So Mimi and Pete, what are you two doing?
Getting out.
Okay, you guys are able to run and jump into the next room, through the opening. Jack jumps through again, but he turns around and he sees May and Barney begin to kind of now crawling, speed crawling across this closing enclosure. And he looks back and he makes eye contact with Mimi and Pete and says, "Hold me!" And he jumps and slides his belly and he reaches out towards the two of both Barney and May as they're coming towards him.
Yep. We'll grab on to his
Absolutely.
legs.
Okay, so at this point, what I'm going to ask for is I will allow either a dex or a strength check as you guys are low crawling through here. May, I'm going to need yours at disadvantage. You're beat to shit. Hell yeah.
That's right, baby. You got this.
And as each of you move, Barney looks up and he's just about ready to put the shotgun into place. And when he lifts his hand, you feel another hand wrap around your wrist. May, you feel another hand wrap around your arm, your forearm. And Jack says, "Pull us in!" May and Pete, pull them in. I need strength checks, please.
Sure.
I'm going to spend an advantage because
Yeah,
I'm terrible.
me too. Oh, not so bad.
But I'll put my weight behind it.
Whoa.
Double 11s? What?
What's happening?
So, in a swoosh and a pile of Olympians, both pre and post, there is a rush as with incredible adrenaline-fueled strength, Mimi and Pete pull forth, and then almost like they're cutting down a tree, pull forth Jack and then jump from his legs up to his shoulders and pull again as they're sliding these Olympians through. And as Barney's feet pass between floor and ceiling and exit the lease line of this place, screw meets screw, and the only sound, the powderizing of a centurion's stone sword. Welcome to the other side, Olympians. What will you do?
Well,
Holy shit. Why would anybody do that? They could have just used poison or gas or like something. Gee, what the whole entire screw thing? You ever seen anything like? I've never seen anything like that.
they just wanted to make it fun. You didn't have fun?
Yeah, I had fun. It was pretty fun.
I officially hate this place. I mean, I hated it before, but I really hate it now. All right, so we're through. Let's keep on going. Keep our eyes open.
Oh yeah, where are we?
Oh, where the fuck are we?
It's funny you should ask. As you look around, you now see that you are in a larger room. This one very similar in style, art-wise, decoration-wise, as the original part of the crypt in which you descended, the one that had the reliefs of the larger stations of the cross. Here, however, there are decidedly different stations, but without a roll, you can tell that these stations too were wrought from the same artisan's hand as the one out in the hallway of the crypt. However, May, as you look and see the Latin, it does not say the stations of Jesus Christ. It says the stations of Pontius Pilate.
pilot. And May's just gonna immediately start walking along.
The first one you come to, May, it shows the same figure that you've come to recognize from the prior reliefs as being Pontius Pilate, and the title of the first station is Pilate is Cursed for His Role in the Sacrifice of Christ. And you see, as he is standing on a hilltop, there is a rendition of very lifelike clouds above his head. The second station says, the first of the Golgothan flies. And you see Pilate as depicted on the station, maybe 2 or 3 feet in the proportional aspect. One of those large flies seems to be almost lifted away from the relief, floating there, following him. And then it says that at the third station, the swarm follows a day behind Pilate. And you see a picture of a sun going over the sky, Pilate on one end of the horizon, a cloud of these flies on the other. The next, Pilate travels through northern Africa. Again, you see this man in a different dress this time. Instead of the traditional Roman robes and garb of the centurion soldier's outfit, he has the long flowing robes of somebody from that area. The next, Pilate boards a ship in the Mediterranean, and you see again these depictions of the stars and the sun, and you realize now, May, that this must mean time of some kind. And it seems that there are several of these, and there is a picture of a ship, an ancient Roman vessel, and as it is riding across the waves, you see a cloud of these flies behind it. The next, Pilate travels from Constantinople through Greece towards Rome. Again, you see these sun, stars, and the cloud of flies, as now a bowed figure of Pilate moves through the landscape. Again, the swarm follows a day behind. The final one says, the second to last one says, Pilate on his deathbed, and you see Pilate as he, almost as a presentation of a corpse laid upright, something that maybe the old American West would do whenever they were showcasing criminals in wooden boxes. But this is how the relief is carved. As Pilate sits, you see the swarm of flies has caught him. He is an old man, and the flies walk and crawl over his flesh, in and out of his mouth, ravaging, laying eggs. There are pustules and boils all along his sagging flesh. And the final, Pilate is placed in the tomb beneath the water to keep the flies away. And as you turn from the last station, you see 3 sepulchres, each holding 3 raised beds, tombs. One says the Father, one says the Son, one says the Holy Spirit. And the last thing that you read, May, as you look up, your eyes having witnessed both Cthulhu, certain death, and now the prophecy of a man that condemned a Messiah. It says, choose the tomb. Failure gives you Pilate's fate. And there is a picture of the fly. And that is where we will end this session of Project Cronus. Yay! I love everybody. Yeah, no pressure. I loved all of you guys writing notes on that one. Like furiously scribbling notes. Love it, love it, love it. All right, everybody, let's go around in the reverse order in which we went through, and I will ask everybody, how are you doing? And how was today in cheery old 1915? Kiana.
Hi, Greg. May's still here. She's not looking great. She's not doing great. But she's still here. So that's a relief. It'll be interesting. She's quite insane. 18 sanity points at this point. But she's a much quieter kind of insanity. And she's going to be really interesting to see when the facade of cool kind of breaks. She's trying her fucking damnedest to be fine. She's fine. Stop questioning everyone. She's perfectly fine. But I love this game, even when it makes me cry. Because I get to spend 2 hours with these lovely people in a crazy pulp adventure where we might die again. You know, that's always on the table. Die or go crazy or looks super fucking epic while we get over these obstacles. But yeah, you can find me over on Twitter at GannaS. Best way to figure out what I'm doing, because I'm all over the internet playing role-playing games almost every day of the week. But of course, you'll find me here, both on Wednesdays for my Black Roses Bloom, and on Saturdays for this game. Both lovely, lovely games with lovely people. Whew, boy, I'm just gonna lie down for a bit now. Just think about everything that has happened.
Just take a nap. Just take a night. Just chill out. Let's go over to somebody who's always cool. She's got a half hour to go see a house. Hey, Summer, how are you doing? And how did you like today's episode?
I'm doing great. I feel like I deserve a raise for the wonderful babysitting that I did today. Thank you. It's just so much fun. I missed being Mimi. I was Aphrodite most of last season. She's so different. Although the amount of times that I think in a session, I wish I was as indestructible or felt I was as indestructible as Aphrodite. I'm like, if I get crushed in this room right now, that's going to be so sad. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Lots of stress at the beginning. I just want to tell Cthulhu to fuck right off. But yeah, doing great. You can find me at Just a Summer Job on Twitter. So if you're interested in seeing where I am, that's where I am. That's all.
Fantastic. And just so this is a kind of a PSA for everybody, you can always tell Cthulhu to fuck off because he's always listening. So just know that it always gets through. You know,
good.
He's always there to, he's always ready with a curse. Speaking of somebody who, I don't know how much your soul costs, Adam, but apparently it's worth some really good dice rolls. So how are you doing, buddy? And nice rolling.
Yeah, I mean, luck was with Pete. I think maybe it's all of the past games catching up to where it's like, all right, we're gonna make things okay for Pete for a while. I had a blast. Great group of characters again. I don't know how you do it, Greg, keeping track of the timelines. I don't know how. Like, I'm confused, and we've only been in 1915 so far. So I'm just amazed. Yeah, I had a great time. I would say the Honest Pete fireside shout out goes to the May Cthulhu debates that I thought were simply amazing. I loved the RP that the two of you were able to throw together. It was better than Mondale versus Reagan. But yeah, I'm at Flathagen. I'm here every Saturday with these beautiful people. So I'll see you next week.
Thanks, buddy. And that is not a high bar, but I appreciate Mondale Reagan. Wow. Okay. Nixon Kennedy? No. Mondale Reagan. Oh, cool. All right, I'll take it, I guess.
Where's the beef, Greg? Where's the beef?
Right. Okay. All right, let's go over to Don. Don, how are you doing, my friend? And what did you think about today?
Oh man, I loved it so much. I got so excited when I realized it was going to be like this Indiana Jones-esque trap at the end. We haven't had a lot of traps like that in this game. Um, I think we had one with like some weird hanging wires and a tank full of weird water that Aphrodite just smashed. But this is like, you know, straight out of Indiana Jones. It was awesome. I love all the role play. I loved that scene with Cthulhu and May at the beginning. I thought everybody was great today. This is one of my favorite episodes, but I mean it. I really mean that. And I'm really excited for next week. You can catch me here next Saturday, or you can catch me here on Saturdays. This upcoming Wednesday, I DM May Black Roses Bloom. If you're in chat, I haven't checked that out, check it out. If you have a Wednesday night, it's 8 p.m. We're having a great time with that show here on this channel. And you can follow me on Twitter at Jonathan Fry if you want to see what else I'm up to. But mostly, I'm just excited about playing with awesome people like these guys.
Fantastic, fantastic. And that leads me to the next point that Don was talking about. Next week, we have several of our people will be going to PAX Unplugged. Yay! Fun with real human interaction, which is nice. So everybody, we'll be off next Saturday. We will be back the following Saturday. So just follow up on Twitter for everybody to keep track of what we're doing, and follow these people anyway. As I state, I am blessed to have people on this channel that are very kind. They are very nice, and always surround yourself with that. So it's very easy to click follow and add kindness to your life. As for the channel, May Black Roses Bloom on Wednesday evening, starting at 8 Eastern Standard Time. We have Dragonlance 5th edition happening there. We will also be beginning on December 13th, which is a Thursday, from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We have 5 new cast members to the channel coming in. They are going to kick butt and take names. It's going to be great. We're going to be running through the new Wizards of the Coast offering. It is super fun, so we'll be doing some more D&D 5e. We have a ton of super fun things coming next season, beginning in January. I cannot wait. I will be sharing them over the Christmas break as a present to myself, and just to be able to work again with these people that I love. But please be back in 2 weeks as we figure out what exactly the Tomb of Pilate has in store for our Olympians. Until such time, though, everybody take care of yourselves. 2018, 1915, you'll always have friends there. So until we roll again, everybody, take care.